you will find joy in helping others with all your heart. When we help others without seeking fame or reward, but simply because our heart stirs at someone's struggles, we will feel a pure joy, the joy of sharing. It's not a loud or fleeting joy, but a warm glow spreading from within, lightening the soul and making life more meaningful. Helping with all your heart not only brings happiness to those who receive, but also kindles faith and humanity within ourselves. Forgiving is a way to enrich the soul, and in the moment we do good, we also receive the light of kindness within us. Sometimes, without meaning to, we learn certain things and realize that what we cared about was, in fact, laughably trivial. In the journey of life, there are times we cling to worries, to hurts, or to small misunderstandings we thought were monumental. We torment ourselves, saddened by things we deemed important. But then, one day, we catch a glimpse of the truth from a different angle and realize it was all insignificant, even comical in hindsight. That is quiet maturity, when we understand that not everything we see is the whole truth, and not every sorrow is worth holding on to. The more we mature, the more we learn to let go of the trivial, to open our hearts, making them lighter and more peaceful. Never change yourself for others. If they cannot accept you with your flaws, they don't deserve you with your virtues. In the flow of life, we often try to please others, striving to be good enough to be accepted. But in doing so, we risk losing our true essence. Change is meaningful only when it comes from a desire to grow, not from the fear of rejection. Those who truly love you won't seek a perfect version of you, but will cherish your shadows, your flaws, and the wounds that have shaped who you are today. For only those who accept your imperfections are worthy of seeing the brightest light of your soul. Your life is truly meaningful and complete when you nurture and hold fast to your dreams, when you acknowledge and believe in promises. Dreams are the quiet flame in your soul, lighting up dark days and guiding you through storms. When you nurture and protect your dreams, you preserve the purest part of yourself, the part untouched by the chaos and pragmatism of life. To acknowledge is to cherish the small things. A word of encouragement, a helping hand, or a moment of peace. That gratitude makes us live more deeply and kindly. And finally, believing in promises is not just about trusting others, but also about trusting yourself. Trusting that, despite life's changes, you can hold fast to a steadfast and pure heart. For the true meaning of life lies not in grand achievements, but in having the courage to dream, the sincerity to believe, and the love to cherish every good thing around you. If you cannot enter someone's world, don't force your way in, troubling others and ruining yourself. What's the point? In life, some doors remain closed, no matter how hard you knock. Some relationships stay distant, no matter how much you try. Instead of forcing your way into a world not meant for you, learn to pause and walk away with a smile. For sometimes, peace comes not from gaining, but from letting go. Clinging to something not meant for you only brings more pain and burdens your journey. Each person has their own world, a space of joy and sorrow, and not everyone has a place in another's story. Understanding this, we live more lightly, more maturely, and more compassionately toward ourselves. For sometimes, walking away is not defeat, but a way to preserve dignity and peace in your soul. Life is not about finding out who you are, but about creating who you are. Many spend their lives trying to find themselves, as if the true self exists somewhere, waiting to be discovered. But in truth, life is not a quest for a pre-existing self, but a process of building, through experiences and choices, the person you wish to become. We are not born perfect, nor is there a preset path. Our stumbles, beliefs, aspirations, and even our wounds shape the person we are today. And with every decision, we are sculpting our own soul, writing the unique story of our life. So don't search for yourself in others' words, but dare to move forward, to explore, to create. Life is not a mirror reflecting who you are. It's a blank canvas where you paint yourself with the colors of experience and dreams. Life is what happens while you're busy planning for the future. We often get caught up crafting perfect plans for tomorrow. A better job, a dream home, a dazzling future. But in our rush to calculate and prepare, we miss the most precious thing, the present unfolding before us. Life is not just about distant goals, but is hidden in the simplest moments. A loved one's smile, a morning coffee, or a quiet sunset on the porch. These seemingly small moments form the grand tapestry of a life. Planning is necessary, but truly, living is pausing to feel, cherishing each moment as it passes. For if we only look to the future, we lose the present, and one day, we'll realize life slipped away while we were living for tomorrow. Happiness is not the goal of life, but the means to live a meaningful life. Many chase happiness as if it's the ultimate destination, a place where all worries vanish. But happiness is not at the end of the road. It's in the journey we're walking. It's not a reward, but a quiet energy that fuels each step we take. Happiness is not fleeting satisfaction, but the peace of living true to our values, when we know how to love, to share, to give, and to receive. It's through happiness, however small or fragile, that we find the strength to overcome challenges, to trust, and to keep building something beautiful. For the goal of life is not just to be happy, but to live with meaning. And happiness, in its role, is not the destination, but a quiet companion, lighting each step of the journey. Life is made of moments that cannot be measured by time, but by memories. Time passes, minute by minute, but not every moment becomes life. For what makes a day unforgettable is not the hours we live, but the emotions that touch our hearts, the memories we hold dear, a genuine smile, a warm embrace, or a windy afternoon can become a small piece of the grand mosaic of our life. Life, therefore, is not measured by the length of years, but by the depth of what we've lived. Some live long but empty lives, while others live briefly, yet leave countless marks in the hearts of others. Memories are the traces of our emotions, proof that we have lived fully, loved, cried, and laughed. And when we look back, we realize the most precious thing is not how long we live, but how deeply we live each moment. Great achievements are born from great sacrifices and never from selfishness. Every shining glory we see today is lit by sweat, tears, and silent sacrifices. Achievements don't come by chance. They are the fruit of persistent effort, of sleepless nights, of accepting losses to create something greater. In contrast, selfishness yields only fleeting gains, never lasting value. For selfishness is thinking only of oneself, while true achievement comes from transcending the self to create meaning for others. Sacrifice is the seed of greatness, where we learn to give, and in giving, we receive something greater: pride, love, and a lasting mark on the world. Thus, true glory always carries the warmth of compassion, and only those who sacrifice can reach the pinnacle of achievement. Selfishness is not living as you wish, but demanding others live as you wish. Many think living for themselves is selfish, but in truth, living true to yourself is a natural right. Selfishness begins when we impose our thoughts, desires, and standards on others. That's when true selfishness takes shape. For freedom does not mean taking freedom from others, and love or kinship should not be an excuse for control. Those who live selflessly understand that everyone has their own world where they can choose, err, and be different without judgment. The greatest selfishness is not living for yourself, but wanting the world to revolve around your small self. Only by respecting differences does our heart truly open and life becomes harmonious and light. Selfishness always needs forgiveness, for there's no hope of a cure. Selfishness, though seen as a flaw, is an inseparable part of human nature. We've all been selfish, even if just for a moment, wanting to keep joy to ourselves, fearing the loss of what we cherish, or forgetting others' feelings. So, forgiving selfishness is not indulgence, but a way to understand that humans are inherently imperfect. There's no cure for selfishness, for it's not a disease, but a small crack in the soul, reminding us of our weaknesses and limits. Yet from that realization, we learn compassion, humility, and the ability to love more deeply. Forgiving selfishness is forgiving the incomplete parts within each of us, for sometimes only compassion can heal what reason cannot mend. Politeness is but a fragile veneer over shared selfishness. Politeness, often seen as a mark of civility and respect, does not always stem from pure goodwill. Sometimes, behind a courteous smile lies calculation, behind sweet words, a desire for personal gain. People, fearing judgment or loss of status, learn to mask their true nature with a veneer of politeness, fragile, easily broken, but enough to create an illusion of perfection. Yet, this is not entirely blameworthy, for society is where we balance instinct and reason between being true and being proper. That politeness, though tinged with selfishness, is an effort to coexist without hurting each other too much. Perhaps what matters is not unmasking that veneer, but understanding that every gentle facade holds some fragility. Every courteous act hides a piece of the true human, both weak and pitiable. Glory built on selfishness is regret and shame. Some reach what seems like the pinnacle: power, fame, renown. But looking back, in the dazzling light of success, they see only the darkness of loneliness and emptiness. For glory built on others' pain, on greed or selfishness, no matter how bright, is but a false flame consuming itself. Selfishness may bring victory, but never peace. When our joy is traded for others' tears, that success is tainted with guilt. One day, when the applause fades, what remains is not pride, but regret and shame, scars that never fade in the soul. Thus, true glory lies not in standing above others, but in not trampling others to stand tall. Only success built on compassion and integrity can light the human heart with a flame that never dies. The selfish care only for their own gain, heedless of others. The selfish live in the narrow circle of their self, where every thought and action revolves around them. They see only what they want, forgetting that others, too, have hearts longing for understanding and sharing. Their vision is clouded by ambition and fear of loss, closing off compassion, making the world around them distant and cold. In truth, selfishness not only hurts others, but also depletes the soul of the one who carries it. For when we only take and never give, only demand and never empathize, life becomes an empty room where the only echo is our own voice. Only when we open our hearts, seeing others' joys and sorrows, do we truly touch the essence of humanity. For happiness never blooms in a selfish heart, but grows from sharing and compassion. Selfishness is a destructive force in relationships and emotions in life. Selfishness is an invisible but powerful barrier, silently breaking bonds built on love and understanding. When we think only of ourselves, we forget that relationships thrive only when nurtured by both sides. Selfishness closes the heart, leaving no room for empathy or sharing. Slowly, the ties between people fade, leaving a void of hurt and loneliness. In life, the more we care for others, the more we receive genuine love in return. That is the remedy for every relationship. Selfishness is not just a lack of sharing, but a disregard for others' pain and struggles. Selfishness is not only holding tightly to what's ours, but also indifference to others' suffering. When we turn away from empathy, we close the door, connecting our heart to the world around us. One may be rich in material wealth, but without compassion, they remain poor in spirit. Caring, sharing, and empathizing make us nobler, for in loving, we not only warm others, but also warm our own hearts. The selfish lack empathy and respect for others' rights, for in their eyes, everything revolves around themselves. They live in the narrow world of their self, where selflessness is forgotten and care becomes a luxury. Without empathy, they cannot feel the joy of sharing nor grasp the value of compassion. Their lives become lonely, for true happiness never grows from selfishness, but from love and mutual respect. Selfishness is not just an action, but a mindset, showing a lack of sensitivity and understanding for others. Selfishness is not only an act, but a way of thinking, a lens through which the world is seen only from one's own perspective. It narrows the mind, stripping away the ability to feel others' pain, joy, or aspirations. When selfish thinking dominates, the heart grows cold and isolated, leaving no room for sharing or understanding. Thus, healing selfishness requires not just words or fleeting acts, but opening the heart, learning to listen, and putting oneself in another's shoes to let love reclaim the soul. Selfishness erodes compassion and sincerity in human relationships. Selfishness is like an invisible wall separating people, dimming compassion, and making sincerity rare. When we think only of ourselves, we forget that everyone carries their own wounds and yearnings for understanding. Selfishness dries up the wellspring of empathy, making relationships cold and meaningless. Only by opening our hearts, valuing others' joy alongside our own, can we restore compassion and find the true value of humanity. A selfish life cannot bring true happiness, for true happiness exists only when we share and care for one another. A selfish life is like a garden with only one flower, monotonous, closed, and quick to wither. True happiness doesn't grow from possession, but from giving. When we share joy and care for others' sorrows, our hearts grow richer and warmer. In the moments we help and love, happiness becomes most real and enduring. For only through humanity, empathy, and selflessness does this life become meaningful and filled with light,